Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to my next episode on the Welsknight Patreon server. This is Mar here, and it's pretty much where we left off in the last episode, although I did go down and sort through even more villagers. They're really quite getting out of hand. I don't have the second row fully stocked, but a couple... I keep getting some empty minecarts in the slots, like in the final resting places of the villagers. I don't know whether it's because there are villagers going through the water system and then I unload the chunks and they drown. I would think that if the chunks are unloaded, then they would not be capable of drowning, and then once the chunks reload, they'd continue bobbing along. I'm not really sure what the scoop is there. They also keep somehow escaping from their pet. Like, I keep finding them just wandering around. I'm like, how are you guys getting out? They're absolute escape artists. I don't like them. But I did go over there and sort through a couple of them. I didn't do any trading yet, to see if anybody had good trades. I got rid of a whole bunch of ones that I knew I wouldn't want, like cartographers and butchers and fletchers and fishers, primarily, and nitwits, of course. I want to do a massive amount of work here at the farms, because I'm tired of working in this area and getting so many villagers in there. I feel like if we moved just a little bit that way, that we'd be out of range for the villager breeder, and life would be a lot easier, I think, in terms of villager control. But I logged in and I found this. I think I mentioned, at least at some point, I'm sure I have, that it's kind of cool when you grow a tree and replace it with other blocks. I was talking about like the acacia trees. I liked their shape. Someone thought it would be amusing to give me a nether brick, an acacia tree made out of nether brick. Interesting choice. I don't know what the sign means. I don't know what the acronym stands for. But if this was you, what is it? What does EBR mean? I don't know. Am I missing a reference? I miss a lot of references. I'm not up to date on my references, so I don't know what that means. But ha ha ha, very cute. You know what I meant. You know I was not talking about nether brick. Oh boy. But hello. There we go. Let's get rid of night. And come on. There we go. Now, I want to work a lot on the farm here. I want to get it as close to being done as realistically I can, considering I still don't have the wall over there. I do at least want to maybe mark out some boundaries for where I think the wall should go. I do think I want to have a gate of some sort over there. I'm not really quite sure what the deal will be with that, but I do want to make a significant amount of work and hopefully get rid of some of this torch spam, because it's kind of silly at this point. And because there's so much torch spam over here, no mobs spawn, and so they're like spawning in droves over there in the unlit portions. So I figure if we pick up all these torches and replace them with you know, proper lighting, then we can repurpose the torches over there. I'd hate to have to build even more torches, you know, this is a ridiculous amount of torches going on. But I do want to work on that. I'd like to get in some of the crops and the cow pen. We probably won't have time to work on the sheep. I figure the sheep will be a project of its own, an episode of its own. I've been brainstorming ideas on how, like, where the entrance to the sheep pen will be. I was thinking either we could have like a shed or something in one of these grassy spots over here, or I could even put it like on the edge of the market, like just on the other side of the gate there, and have it kind of come underneath the farmland. I'm not really quite sure, but you know, we'll have to think about that and come up with something. But for now, for today's episode, I would like to finish off quite a bit of the farm, get some of the animals moved over here and whatnot. And for those curious, my burned fingers are healing up pretty nicely. It's a couple days since that all happened. They blistered a bit. The skin feels very weird still, but it's you know, it doesn't hurt anymore. That's good. And I guess it's starting to heal up in one way or another. So yeah, that's all good. So let's get at it. Alrighty guys, I have done some flattening of the land here, and now I am presented with a challenge. I didn't want to make each half perfectly symmetrical along this line, which would be, you know, the wall there, a gate, wall, and then like making a right angle at that tower to go along this line. I could have done that here, brought the walls all the way up there, put a tower, and then brought the walls over here, like completely flat. I could have done that, for sure. It wouldn't have been, I guess even then, realistically, I guess it wouldn't have been perfectly symmetrical. Let's see, 5 segments, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, maybe 5, I don't know. Regardless of how it would have worked out, I didn't want it to be like that. I wanted this wall to be kind of more angled, and I wanted 2 pillars here, or 2 towers here, and I wanted them to go up like twice as high as those ones, because I want the segment back here to be elevated, and I thought it would make it look kind of neat if these 2 were taller than the rest, and this became like some sort of, not really a back alleyway, but kind of like a back alleyway, and then there'd be like steep steps going up or something like that. The problem here is that if we could keep with our perfect dimensions, where we have a 5 wide, and then our standard size pillar, and then in a 5, a 5, a 5, a 5, a 5, and then another standard size pillar, this right here does not meet up perfectly. So here's our 5 long flat wall, and here's our 5 long flat wall, and then we have this one which is snugged right up against that on the second block, and then it comes perfectly diagonal, and it meets up at the first block. Like, it would have to be right here in order for it, like, because this is the second block, behind there's the second block, but it doesn't meet up. The cobble would need to end right here. So it's not perfect. One solution to that would be to take this out, and instead of the 5 long being right where it was before, it would be right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you would have, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. And then these would go away, you know, but there's that doesn't really work either, because it shifts it this way, you know, which I guess, I mean, you'd end up having to gyp yourself of a block, because this becomes, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only 4 long here, which isn't going to look so great. And then you could, of course, you know, make that longer, but then you've got this wall here that's only 4. It's, you know, like, you're basically stealing from Peter to pay Paul, but Paul's got to be here somewhere. He's just going to be a little gypped, I guess. The only thing I could think of to fix it would be to make a very small 2 wide door here for a smaller version of the balcony that we have on that side. So as you can see, by counting these chiseled pillars, it's a 5 wide. If we made a much smaller 4 wide, we could potentially quote-unquote cheat it into working. So we'd have a 5 segment, a 5 segment, a 4 segment, a 5 segment, a 5 segment, a tower. It's technically a 5 segment on a diagonal. Whoops, I didn't mean to break that. I was just using it as an example. And then we have a tower, and then a 5 segment. And it gives me the 2 towers that I want. It gives me the diagonal exit over here, and it still technically meets up. It's weird, I know, and I've had to recount this so many times that I keep second guessing myself. Like, wait, did I count that right? Let me do this again, you know. Trying to see if I'm missing something, or if there's some better way of cheesing the system, I guess. I think I'm that witch is need to go. Bye bye. Now you go die now. Is he gonna die? No, he's not. What? You're a tough person. Okay. So this is the best thing that I could come up with, unless we wanted to make it completely flat, a single tower, and then completely flat all the way over to there. This was the only way I could think of to kind of force it to work. And then we'd have the path coming off there, sweeping around here and going through, and then the pen for the cows would be in this section here. Now with the pen for the cows here, I don't know, I guess you could have an entrance here and here into the towers, and then have the fence for the pen just sweep along the edge here. and then like stop somewhere around here so that you can still gain access to this one. I suppose that's probably what I'll end up doing. Now, these towers aren't going to really have anything inside of them. They're just mostly for decoration. They'll just have the spiral staircase so you can get up and down. And we will need to do something to sort of dress up the inside portion as well as the outside. I haven't done that yet. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with this sort of a cheating the system method of doing it. Now, I'm not going to actually build these walls up in today's episode, like I said. We're going to focus on the farms, which we can now do now that the ground is all flattened out. So what we need is to put away our spare dirt. We've been using oak fences. I hope we have enough. Let's just get out all of our all of our shulkers here, because I can't remember what's where anymore. Nope, those are empty. Okay. So fences. Not really seeing any. I did see these though, so we can make more. Gonna need a crafting table. And we'll get some sticks. I don't know how many we're gonna need, so let's just do that many. And then a whole mess of those. And a whole mess more. Okay, that should do good. Do us good for a little while here. Now we're gonna have, what was this, wheat, and I think this was beetroots up here. Beetroots are gonna be pretty small, I think. And they're gonna, I believe I wanted them to run right up against the wheat farm. The wheat farm will actually probably come all the way up here, and the beetroots will be, you know, like I said, considerably smaller. Now, if we're gonna have this path going over there, then the fences for the cows will probably be right about here. Now, we're gonna want it to be not horribly perfect. We want it to have a pretty organic feel, I would say. That looks silly. I don't want it to come up the up the slope. So maybe just do this, and then over. Oops, that's not what I wanted. And then maybe start curving this way. Oh no, wait, I got that all wrong. Silly me, that's where the stable goes. I accidentally broke the sign that had the cows on it. Oh, good job, self. Good job. So, stable. I don't know how big the stable will be, but if we... Whoops, I'm about to lose blocks here. If we put the stable here, I would think I would want it to face this way, because we'll have the path leading along here. And maybe the fence will come directly off the backside of the stable. You know, I think I should probably go ahead and build the stable so that I know exactly where it is. So let me quickly put... It's not going to be anything fantastic. It's going to be probably the worst stable. It's more like a lean-to. In the picture that I've been working off, it's going to be more like a lean-to type thing. So let me go ahead and throw that up, and then I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, welcome back. I've done a bit of work. I've put up the pen for the cows. Currently they're all clustered over there because that's where the gate was. I'm hoping that gradually they'll disperse over here. I will still have to go through with some hidden lighting tricks, of course, but that's okay. This is what I came up for with the little shed. It's not really... Like I said, it wasn't going to be the greatest design in the world ever. I did bring over the 2 horses, so they're chilling. I also brought the chickens over here, and there were a lot more pigs than I thought we had. But they're all clustered in here. Hey piggies, what you doing? Okay, yeah? Alright. You hang in there. Now we do still have the sheep over here at the market. And they're gonna stay there until I figure out whatever I'm gonna do with the sheep farm, because I want all 16 colors of the wool. So they're just hanging in here. I don't think I missed any chickens or pigs or cows in here. I'm pretty sure it's all sheep now, which is good. Yeah, I'm only seeing sheep, it looks like. So let's leave them here. It'll be nice once we get them sorted, because then we can take down these fences. These weren't originally part of the design. I just added them to keep these guys contained. But once we move them, we can take the gates back down, which I will be very happy of. What that will mean is that, hypothetically, mobs could come up from the water. I don't know what their pathing abilities would necessarily be. And they'd have to be mobs that can spawn in water already, so like the drowned, basically. And I don't think drowned do very well on land. I highly doubt that they're gonna crawl all the way up here, and even once they do, we do have fences here, so our villagers are protected, and we'll have, you know, our animals over here all fenced in. Not that the drowned would do anything to our animals anyway, but they should be safe regardless, and whatnot. Next, we need to do quite a bit of tilling. I'm gonna have to get some buckets of water, do some counting to see like where I want there to be farmland, and what the spacing should be for the water. So let me work on the farmland a little bit. Let's get the beetroots and the what am I saying? Not sugarcane. The wheat. Let's get those in place and then see how we're doing on time. Welcome back, everybody. I have kind of decided to go a different route here. I was gonna have the wheat and then the beetroots up here. I decided to do all of it as wheat. It just didn't seem to make much sense once I started working on it to have it change into beets up here. So I decided to make this one giant wheat field. I think it's going to look really good once it's all grown up instead of just being seeds. I actually had to go over and raid the seed supply we had at the community farms. The process of planting so much wheat to build up the farms over there left us with over a double chest of wheat. So I grabbed a couple stacks from there just to finish this off. This took like 8 or 9 or maybe even 10 stacks of wheat seeds, which seems ridiculous, but you know, well, there you have it. It is what it is. So we've got pigs, chickens, horses, or you know, whatever else you'd put in a stable, a wheat field, cows. We're gonna have sheep underground. We have the carrots and potatoes over there. We're gonna have a automatic melon pumpkin farm that I'm gonna build someplace else. What else are we? I mean, we have a sugarcane as well. That's another thing. We'll want to make probably a small automatic cactus farm, just, you know, kicks and giggles. I made I made what I thought was a ridiculously small farm at the community farms. Oh my goodness, does that thing overflow like nobody's business. Anytime anybody goes over there, I guess, for an extended period of time, you just get so much cactus. So I'll probably do a really minute cactus farm. Does that just leave beetroots? Is beetroots the only... Am I missing anything else that you would plant? Let me double check my list. What else have we got here? Cows, sheep, pigs, chickens, cactus, kelp. Well, kelp, I've never actually made a kelp farm. I have seen a couple different designs. That wouldn't be something we could build over here, though, obviously. That'd be something we'd want, like, underground or something. And I'm also not putting a huge priority on that until, I mean, really, it does. I mean, I'm not planning on making a super smelter in this world. So, so far I've been able to just go out and manually harvest from the ocean. That's the convenient thing of being around an ocean. Melons, pumpkins, wheat, beetroots, trees, netherwort. I guess netherwort, but that wouldn't be really something we'd want something out here. This seems like our very traditional farm, you know, so netherwort doesn't really make sense to me. And ignore that water or those glowstone there. It was the block I had, and I just plunked it down so I could have an infinite water source. We'll clean that up later. So beetroots then, right? Well, we have I kind of like the idea of putting it here, but trying to decide, like, would I really do that with this doorway right here? I suppose that if this path came kind of like over here and met up here, it's almost making it like a crossroads of sorts. I could use this section in here for beetroots, I suppose. And while I did want to have an automatic melon and pumpkin farm, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea to have just a few lying around just for decoration. That's kind of what I did at the community farms as well. I probably wouldn't do that for the potatoes and carrots necessarily. Maybe a very small garden up there next to the house, perhaps. So let me figure this out. I do think I like the idea of putting the beetroots here in the very least. It seems like the only place left, to be honest. Have a very small path coming off, I suppose. Something like that, maybe, and that. And get rid of that. There. Yeah, that seems pretty good. It can meet up right over here. Now we will be bone mealing when we're finished. When I'm finished putting in basically the farms and tiki torches, you can see I put some tiki torches around the pens here. To prevent little guys like that head right there. Hello, yes I do see you. You don't see me, but I do see you. Also happy that the cows have spread out a little bit. The pen is probably far too big for them, but yeah, well, that's fine. Maybe I'll put a couple sheep in there just for kicks and giggles. But yeah, once I finish putting in the proper farms and the tiki torches, and I get everything just the way I like it, I will probably put down some more bush thingies, like in random places in the yard, and then take out all the torches and see how we are on lighting. Because ultimately the idea here is to be spawn proof, really. So that's definitely something we're gonna want to be paying very careful attention to. So let me get to work here and see what we can pull out for the beats here, and come back in a little bit. Now isn't that a beautiful sight? I wish that the textures of things like wheat and whatnot were slightly different. Like some of them were the tan color, some of them still had green, maybe that yellowish color there. I just think this right here looks so much better than when it's all fully grown. But that said, I think the area definitely looks better regardless. I have gone ahead and bone mealed just around the perimeter of the two farms, the wheat farm and our little beetroot farm. Not really in these back areas yet because I still need to do the lighting back there. Except right here I did a little bit just to test it out, but when you get see, this is the problem I have with bone mealing swampland. You either get a ridiculous amount of those blue flowers, which I actually like, but there is such thing as overdoing it, or you get the too tall flowers. It's really hard to get nice normal grass down there. But I managed to. I think I'm pretty satisfied with the turnout. Maybe not this section here with the 3 flowers right next to each other. I'll probably clean that up a little bit. Do some more bush work, of course. But I think the walk along here looks really good. I like this feel. Maybe not this, of course, so much, but I think this area is coming along really nicely. It's like not necessarily. I mean, you have in a base this big, you're like, oh, I like this really. I like this a lot. I like that a lot. You don't really have one single favorite, but you have like a list of favorites. This is definitely becoming one of the things that's going to be on my list of favorites, especially when the rest of the walls are up and we finish off these area over here. Because realistically, at this point, unless I add in, like I thought about adding in a couple melons and pumpkins, but then I realized, what, they're going to have water to keep them, usable as well, and I wasn't particularly wild about that idea all that much, so I'll probably just skip that after all. Actually I could probably use some bone meal in here. Oh well, I'll do that later. But once I put up the wall and I guess bone meal and bushify and make sure everything is lit up all around the edges, I think the farms are done. I mean, if you can think of anything that I might be missing that we haven't already decided to put somewhere else, like our automatic melon and pumpkin farm and the kelp farm and all that sort of stuff. If I've overlooked something, definitely shout it out. Let me know in the comments below. But I think this is coming along quite fantastic. So let me double check the time. If we still have time left, I'm going to add, or at least make an effort to add bushes and whatnot around the parts of the walling that are already built up, and then probably finish this next time or between episodes or something like that. Because you saw progress updates on all of this. You probably don't really care about this section right here. So let me check the time and get at that. If we're out of time, I'll be right back and we can wrap up the episode. But let me see where we're at and I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, we're almost out of time. I did quickly touch up this spot, that spot, and this spot over here. I planted some trees. They're just vanilla trees, but I'm so torn when it comes to vanilla trees. On the one hand, you're like, that looks pretty decent, and I like that one, and it looks okay. It looks a little like a I don't know, lollipop, but these ones are the ones I'm least in favor of, just because you see this very generic shape all over the landscape. These two are at least slightly different. Even if I wouldn't necessarily call them the best looking tree, certainly not any custom tree quality, but I think that they will probably do just fine for what we need it for. I will eventually, of course, take down the prank tree, but for now I'm just going to leave it up. Unfortunately, we are pretty much out of time here. We're coming up on that time limit, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and enjoyed the progress, pretty significant progress we've made here in the farms. And I hope you keep on coming back for more. But until next time, I hope you have a fantastic time, and I'll see you later. Bye!